On this episode of the Best of Bias podcast, you got your boy, Lydell Dinero. It's episode 237. We in the building. Got a little bit to talk about some sports. Free agency has been popping in NFL. NBA is getting close to the playoffs / play-in. Some pop culture news. And I'm watching some shows that are getting pretty good. So we got some stuff to talk about on this episode of the Best of Bias podcast. Again, it's episode 237, season 3. You in the place to be. Where that theme song at? It's your boy, Lydell Dinero. Let's get right to it. Yeah.
It's the best of bias. You need the earful, you should try us. From pop culture to the movies to unite us. It's the best of bias. The best of bias. Yeah, it's the best of bias.
What's up, everybody? It's another episode of the Best of Bias podcast, starring yours truly, as Lydell Dinero. You already know who it is. If you click play, you know where you're at. You know where you're supposed to be, and I'm glad you're here with me today. It's episode 237. We getting up there, everybody. We're getting up there. I promise you, there's more and more to come. We ain't stopping no time soon. So thank you for being here for episode 237. We got some stuff to talk about today. Again, NFL free agency has been popping. If you're an NFL fan, you're a sports fan that's into the NFL, you know there's a lot of movement going on, a lot of big names being changed in spots. So I'm going to update y'all on that. Of course, I'm going to talk about the Buccaneers. But first and foremost, before I get into any of that, how y'all doing today, man? How y'all doing? How's the mental doing? Hope everybody's doing okay going into this mid-March, man. The month is flying by. Crazy shit is happening in the world, but I'm hoping that everybody is able to cope, able to be somewhere that they can listen to the podcast, enjoy the podcast while being productive, if that's what you want to do, at the gym, on the way to work, coming back from work. You know what I'm saying? If you're not working, if you have a day off, chilling in the park, hanging with your significant other. I just want you to be able to be relaxed and just let all the stressors of the week, just let them go. Let them go. You're at the Best of Bias podcast now, where we bring all the bias to the table. Anything you want to hear about we probably won't talk about it and bring it to the table and hear different aspects and different opinions on it. So, you know what I'm saying? Let your feedback, let your hair down, and let's get right to it. But I always like to check in with you guys first, make sure everything is good mentally, make sure you guys are doing okay. If you want to take a second to take a deep breath, inhale, exhale all that negative energy, anything that was going on throughout the week. Let's get in a good mindset, because we about to have some fun today, huh? 237, man. We getting up there. Again, if you guys have been here since 2019, I fucks with y'all. Thank you guys for rocking with me to this far. Because there's been ups and downs, definitely ups and downs. Been some times where I've been skipping weeks when I couldn't do it all by myself. I've been trying, man. Everybody makes it look so easy out there in the podcast world to get a team together and just get out here and pod every week. But, I do what I can and get out here and provide some flavor for y'all, and I'm hoping that you guys enjoy it, because I do it for y'all. I do it mostly for me, but I do it for y'all as well, mostly as well. So y'all the other like 49%, you know what I'm saying? 51% is for me and my sanity. I love coming on here and venting to y'all and let y'all know how I feel about some things, because you could feel the same way. You need somebody to vent with and have that same experience, or you can need to hear somebody else's viewpoint on it, and that's what this podcast is all about. But anyways, let's hop into some stuff. NFL free agency has been popping. I think it started this past Monday. So everything, has been actually official. Everybody's been hearing rumors about stuff that probably would happen prior to, but once that clock struck free agency open, there was a lot of moves happening. I didn't write them all down because, me personally, I didn't think there was any super, super, super big moves, unless you're a 49ers fan. Yeah, that whole team got gutted. But some big names that got moved around. Geno Smith went from the Seahawks to the Raiders, with Pete Carroll reuniting them together. Tom Brady owning the team. I think he just wants a lot of familiarity. He knows the Raiders have, they're a historical franchise that have won in the past, but as of late, since they got to Vegas, they haven't really been taken seriously. And everybody knows about Tom Brady and what he does. So his acumen brought into the front office and into ownership kind of gives good direction and, good outlook for the Raiders in the future, I would say. Pete Carroll as the coach, Chip Kelly as the offensive coordinator. I'm getting some pieces out there, you know what I mean? Starting with the quarterback, you got to get a quarterback, because a lot of these young quarterbacks, it seems like the last couple of years, either a lot of them haven't turned out right, except for last year. Caleb and Jaden were good, but the year before that and the year before that, the what's my guy's name? Dude play for the Jets. His name is mistaking me right now, but that class that didn't really produce anybody. And, a lot of the times now there's not a million quarterbacks that are coming out ready to play and ready to produce right away. So rather than taking a project quarterback, a lot of coaches on their last string, they're taking players that they feel like they can get good play out of right now, rather than trying to, stay afloat and just kind of have project quarterbacks, especially when they're people like Pete Carroll, 70 years old, only came back for the love of the game and for an opportunity to do something in Vegas with Tom Brady and Chip Kelly. It may be a cool thing out there. So them getting Geno, re-signing Max Crosby, um, and them possibly drafting Austin Genty. That could be a revitalization for the Vegas Raiders, and that's really cool to see. You know what I mean? Because they've been, I wouldn't say the laughing stock, but of the NFC West they have been, but of the NFL, they've been kind of solid, but they let Josh Jacobs go, and they kind of fell off a little bit after Devontae and Josh Jacobs, even though they weren't winning hella at that point, but they were kind of like, scary at times and we're kind of getting somewhere. And then they didn't want to pay him and they kind of fell off. But now, we'll see what happens with Tom Brady and him. Then we have DK Metcalf going to the Steelers. The Seahawks, yeah, they just kind of cleaned house. No Geno. They cut Tyler Lockett. DK Metcalf got traded for a third and a fifth. All they have left is JSN, and they signed Sam Darnold. The Vikings didn't want to sign him back. We thought other teams would be in on Sam Darnold too, because he almost, they went 14-2, I believe, last year. But he got paid by the Seahawks, kind of like a Baker contract. Like I think it was $100 million to play for the Seahawks and be their starting quarterback, but they don't have any receivers right now. You know what I mean? Their new coach is kind of struggling, and just like we're going to start over. Everything that Pete Carroll had, every residual player that he drafted or had anything to do with, we're going to start over and just draft my guys. And just, I think his name is what's his coach name? McDonald. Will McDonald is a player on the Jets, I think, but Mike McDonald, is that the coach's name for the Seahawks? But yeah, congrats to them. Starting over and starting fresh. But yeah, let's see who else. The Bears signed a bunch of people. If you guys watch free agency, they signed a bunch of linemen and people to protect Caleb Williams. And that was the main problem for the Bears. He never had time to throw. He was trying to do the USC stuff in the NFL, and it wasn't working out as well as they thought. They had weapons: Robert Woods, Odunze, Keenan Allen. If he had time to throw the ball, I'm sure they would produce. But he didn't have that time. So Ben Johnson, offensive coordinator from the Lions, coming in, supposed to be offensive genius. Give Caleb Williams some linemen and some protection up front and see what he can do. That's another team if Genty went to, that'd be a complete offense. The defense turned up a lot last year. Montez Sweat, I think he's over there now. He got real good. Jalen Johnson still out there, I think, at their cornerback, pretty good. Yeah, so their defense was coming on towards the end of last year. So free agency, they kind of focused on the offensive line. And if they take one, another offensive weapon, the best one available in the first round, and just get all defense in the second round, third round, fourth round, and succeeding rounds. And I think they may have a lot of, well, I don't know if the Bears are going to actually have a lot of picks, because I think they traded up to get Caleb. So they may be not with the most picks in the world. But I think they're able to rebuild that defense and have a solid offense. They'll be able to put up points. And that's what they're going to need to do against the Lions. I don't know how good the Vikings will still be, because I don't know who's their quarterback of the Vikings now. Oh, yeah, J.J. McCarthy. So we'll see how he is and see if he can continue the success of Addison and Jetta's out there, and see what the Vikings do. But I don't know. It's going to be interesting to see. It's a lot of mix-ups. Aaron Rodgers and Russell Wilson, the veterans, are out there still looking for jobs. Again, people don't really believe in this quarterback class. So you're hearing a lot of stories about Sedor and how people are doubting his work ethic and he may be too arrogant. I don't know if that's really true. He'll probably still get drafted to a quarterback-needy team. But the quarterback-needy teams that are up top, I feel like, are looking at veterans just in case Sedor isn't ready. That Sedor can sit behind for a little bit. I'm hearing about Jackson Dart. I don't really see it with that Jackson Dart. I just kind of see Cam Ward being the number one quarterback taken. Tennessee might take him. I think if I was Tennessee, I would. Though you did take quarterbacks first round the last 2 years in a row, this quarterback can actually throw the ball. You know what I'm saying? Malik Willis and Will Levis weren't really able to do anything throwing the ball. They're just quarterbacks that were muscly and can run. Cam Ward can run and he can throw darts. He played for 3 programs, had a good experiences, knowing a lot of offenses, a lot of offensive coordinators. So I think he's going to be able to go in and be the plug and play guy right away. But everybody else, as far as quarterbacks go, I don't know how they're going to rock. So Aaron Rodgers taking his time picking a team, didn't do so well coming off the Achilles with the Jets. The Steelers are looking at him. The Giants are looking at him. But the Giants have been linked to Sador, so who knows how realistic that really is. We heard a lot about Aaron Rodgers going to the Steelers with DK Metcalf and Pickens over there, and still having Warren. Najee Harris actually went to the Chargers. Shout out him, Antioch's finest. You know what I'm saying? Going out there to play with Justin. That's going to be a combo that I'm going to talk about a lot next year. Probably going to be on my fantasy team too. Don't know what else. So that's the one right there. The lock. Him and Lad too. Don't tell nobody. We're going to talk about that. But yeah, it's looking good out here for a lot of teams. A lot of parity. That's what we need, man. Buccaneers wise, I'm not gonna pass that. We signing all our people back. That's what I like to do, man. All the panicking and signing these big name guys that may not pan out in the future, doing what the Patriots did. Me personally, I would not have paid Carlton Davis all that money. That's top cornerback money. He's not even that. Well, you see what he did for the Lions last year? Nothing. Got hurt. Did exactly what he did on the Bucks. Played okay. Got burnt. Got hurt. Sat out hella game, missed hella games. That's what he's gonna do. So I don't know. I'd rather not overpay for guys. I'd rather trust the process with paying guys on your squad that were successful and are growing. We paid everybody utility pieces on our team. Got Levante David back for at least 2 years so he can retire a buck. Signed Chris Godwin back, of course, 3 years for 30 or 60. What was it? 3 years, 66 million, 33 million guaranteed or some shit like that. Signed him back. He took a hometown discount to play with the Buccaneers. You know what I mean? Mike Evans. It's good to see the Buccaneers are solidifying players that are actually going to be lifers. You know what I mean? Especially the Super Bowl winning guys. Mike Evans, Vita Vea, Jamel Dean, Levante David. Those guys, they should stick around as long as we can have them, as long as it's financially feasible, and it's not a thing where it's like a preference, like, oh yeah, we think we can get better, but we can still afford to keep our guys, but I think we can get better by signing a big name free agent. We don't need to do that, and that's why we signed our own people. And then we signed we signed Hassan Riddick. We saw that he was doing well with the Eagles before going to the Jets and barely even playing due to some contract disputes or some bullshit that was going on over there. He didn't play, and scouts are saying, and people within the industry within the NFL saying that he still got it. So seeing what he can do, 1 year, $14 million, see what he can do on the outside. Still got Yaya Diaby. Sign back Anthony Nelson. Sign back Greg Gaines, big boy in the middle. Sign back Bredesen, our backup tackle, or next, that's a starting left guard. What am I talking about? Ben Bredesen, brought him back. Signed Trayvon Walker, middle linebacker out of Miami. We do need a middle linebacker after we released KJ Britt. KJ Britt was really slow and bad in coverage in the middle. We need a linebacker that can pass rush, shut down the run, and can cover. You know what I'm saying? If it's going to be in the NFL, if it's going to be in the draft, if it's going to be first round, Jahad Campbell from Alabama can be that guy. Me personally, I'm looking at Jahdae Barron to be that nickel / safety. Him and Tyke Smith can be interchangeable. We need that back end defense. Him, Jamel Dean on one side, and Zion McCollum on the other side with Anton Winfield. That secondary will be crazy if that happened. I wouldn't mind taking one of these monster D tackles, or defensive ends, Ezraku, Mike Green. I wouldn't be mad at Pierce. I wouldn't be mad at Pierce either. But if we go that direction, second round, I'm expecting you to go DB. I really am expecting you to go DB. The guy from Kentucky, Levens, I guess everybody likes on our team, from Eastern Carolina. He's fast and tall. You know what I'm saying? If not, but if we don't go middle linebacker first round, Jahad Campbell, we need to draft Oregon's Jeffrey Bassa, safety middle linebacker convert from Oregon. Keep the Oregon tradition going with that. You know what I'm saying? Get a couple of corners, get a couple of DBs if you're not going to draft one first round. So I hope we go into the draft ready to do things. We signed back the players that we had in the rotation. We just needed a little bit more. And if we can build through the draft and still have money to sign kind of like veteran guys that could coach up all the young guys that we do draft and help the younger guys that we did draft, the Braswells of the world, Logan Halls of the world, those guys, if they can get coached up by veterans and eventually turn into something that we thought we were going to draft them to be, we could be good. This draft has a bunch of players that we need, a lot of positions that we need, and a lot of ways to satisfy those needs. So if we do it right, We can win the NFC South for a fifth time in a row. Everybody can hate on how bad our division is if you want to. But if you want, hey, if you win the division every year, last year we won 10 games, a lot more games than a lot of you bums. So talk shit if you want to. Talk shit, get hit. We'll see you in the playoffs. You feel me? So I'm hoping they do well. I wish I could say the same for the 49ers. I almost forgot. I almost passed right through the NFL section without talking about that. But I'm sorry, 49ers. You lost almost all your players. Funga, Greenlaw, Travarius Ward, what? Elijah Mitchell, um, one of your guards, Debo Samuel, trying to trade Ayuk, cut who's use check. Um, the only people you got left is Purdy and Moody. Moody's terrible too. Y'all keep the kicker, but you gonna cut everybody else. It's crazy. Devontae Adams going to the Rams. The Rams just keep building. They thought they was gonna lose Matthew Stafford, but he stayed. Joey Bosa going from the Chargers to the Bills. There's a lot of stuff shaking up, man. And the 49ers kind of stayed pat. Javonte Williams going to the Cowboys is kind of the only move they made, but they lost to Marcus Lawrence. Yeah, so we're gonna see shit's shaking up to be a little different, a lot different than it was in the past. But the strong teams are getting stronger, and the weak teams are getting, well, I don't know. There's always a cycle. You know what I'm saying? The teams go through cycles, but it's kind of hard. It's kind of weird to see the 49ers and the Cowboys so down bad. Who knows? They may have a big draft in store. It can reset everything, but there's no receivers on the 49ers. They have Ricky Parasol. They signed Demarcus Robinson from the Rams, and they have a hurt Ayuk and George Kittle. So, and hopefully they keep Christian McCaffrey, and hopefully he's back to his form. Because if not, I don't know how they're gonna score any points. They still gotta sign Purdy to a contract, extend him. Whew, it's looking ugly out there for them. But it's a long time till the season starts, so a lot of the stuff that'll still to be made. The draft still has to happen, like I said. So yeah, I'll hold my judgment until after that. But hey, it's getting crazy. Hopefully your team did something crazy in NFL free agency. Let's move right into basketball. Basketball, it's getting close to the playoff time, play-in time. So, we're well past the All-Star break, so we're getting close to the end of the season. Hopefully your team is doing well. Nuggets, man, other than the MVP race with Shai Gilgeous-Alexander and seeing how Jokic is trying to compete with that, go for a fourth one. The Nuggets, man, got me a little scared. I ain't even gonna lie. At this time, I'm usually really confident in what we're gonna do in the playoffs. But after last year and how we went out in that game 7 and the comeback against Minnesota and actually getting beat by Minnesota yesterday by about 24 points and getting beat a lot by good teams this season and not really showing ourselves and showing what we can do consistently against good teams. It got me kind of scared, man. The teams up top, OKC, let's see, Memphis, the Rockets, they look a little more hungry. I mean, I know they don't have the top end talent that we do with Jokic and how OKC has a really good team that goes like 20 players deep. But it just seems like we're really complacent. We're taking our past year success and taking it for granted and just thinking we can rest on our laurels and just play when playoff season comes or playoff time comes. I don't like that thought process at all because there are a lot of hungry teams down there that can beat us first round if we don't play right. You see Minnesota coming, you see how good the Warriors are playing since they added Jimmy Butler. The Clippers with Kawhi and Harden, anything can happen there. I know the Suns are playing bad now, but what if, KD and Booker catch heat and Beal catch heat in the playoffs? You never know what exactly can happen. You just got to make the tournament and anything can happen in a 7-game series. So they got me kind of nervous. Aaron Gordon being hurt doesn't really help. Julian Strawther being hurt right now doesn't help. So our lineup is really short. We're only going 8-man deep, and not a lot of shooting with that 8-man deep, especially with Strawther being out. And our other shooter that we were ironically relying on was Aaron Gordon. And with him being out with that calf injury all season, we have no way of consistently seeing what the team is with everything intact. So it's really, really scary. I know LeBron being hurt, the Lakers are falling a little bit more, so it's quiet on that front from their fans. They're not really as confident as they were when LeBron was fully healthy, but who knows? LeBron is probably just resting up, and they'll come back in the playoffs no matter who he plays, Luka and LeBron, wherever they play, even if it's not home court advantage, they'll have fans all over the place cheering for them. So they'll probably be good. East-wise, nobody's really talking about the Cavaliers at all. Everybody just watches the Celtics and see what they do and just judging their momentum off of who's going to win the East, even though Cavaliers are somehow on their second 15-game winning streak of the season. They had 2 winning streaks of 15 and one of 12, which is nuts. I would think with that record and that kind of success, Donovan Mitchell would be one of the front runners for MVP. I get it. Shai Gilgeous-Alexander is scoring probably the most points and is on the number one seed of the West. Maybe because they consider the West to be tougher. But I don't know. 15-game winning streak twice. You know what I mean? Nobody does that. I don't know. And in the East, I don't really see anybody else coming out besides the Celtics. The Knicks can't be good teams. They're kind of like the us of the East, but they're have a little bit worse of a record. I don't see Indiana coming out. Philly's trash. Uh, the Pistons are frisky. The Magic are cool, but I just don't see anybody beating the top end talent of the East. It's not as wide open as the West is. And yeah, and we're set up for a crazy tournament. We're crazy set up for a crazy tournament. We could have fucking. I don't know, man. It could be first round could be OKC versus the Clippers. You could have Nuggets versus the Timberwolves. You could have Memphis versus the Warriors, and then the Rockets. Who else is sitting there in the middle versus the Lakers? You know what I'm saying? Every game, like all the games are only separated by 3 or 4 games, and there's a lot of games left in the season. So I realistically anything can really happen. So we're in the crux of the season, ladies and gentlemen, and hopefully our teams can sack up and get the shit done. Because yeah, again, the Lakers have one of the toughest schedules. I know the Nuggets after this next 3 or 4 games, we're gonna exit out of the toughest stretch. We got to win some games, bro, because if we drop and get out of our home court advantage, I don't think we got it this year, man. I've never really came out personally and was hella shaky about my team in these situations. I always thought that the players that we had, Jokic would bring us through no matter what. But the consistency of Michael Porter Jr. and Jamal Murray this year, the injuries of Aaron Gordon, and then having to rely on Russell Westbrook and Peyton Watson. Christian Brown has been overly excellent this year, but for him to consistently be that way, we can't expect that from him. And if he's not, you can't be hella mad because it's only his second year, or maybe third year in the NBA. Second year in the third year in the NBA. So, you expect growth, but you don't really expect him to be a top-notch averaging 20 and 5 shooting guard in his third year, especially he wasn't drafted to be that. So, and you have Michael Porter Jr. and Jamal Murray for that. So, it's kind of frustrating that we're not playing at our top. And it sucks for me to be complaining as a 2 seed or a 3 seed, possibly 2 seed after tomorrow, but we'll talk about that when we get there. Yeah, hold on tight. About I don't know how many games we have left, but we're not quite to the finish yet. But hopefully your team is doing good. I just had to touch in and let you guys know how I felt about the Nuggets and where I was right now. We're getting close to the playoffs, and hopefully your team is doing good. If not, you got Cooper Flag coming out in the draft, and I mean I know that's not the draft isn't really much to be, look forward to nowadays. Who knows the players? Every good player nowadays are coming out of France. So yeah, we don't know. But moving on from basketball. Before we leave basketball entirely, I haven't touched last week on the pod. I don't know if it was even last week that it happened, but the LeBron versus Stephen A thing, man. I don't know if I talked about this last time on the pod. I may have, but I don't think I did. I'm torn. I'm a fan of both guys, especially what they do for Black culture and for the culture. You know what I'm saying? What Stephen A provides in the talking head sports media journalism aspects, and of course what LeBron does on the basketball court and off the court. And just how he presents himself, how he is the biggest family man of all family men. But I didn't like what I saw out there in the court after that. I don't know. Was it a New York game? New York versus LA? Don't matter who exactly it was, but there was a confrontation after the game. LeBron went up to Stephen A, saw him sitting courtside and confronted him. It looked like a heated conversation was going on. And of course, you are celebrities. You're at a Lakers game. Those phones is going to come out. So the fans caught an interaction between Stephen A and LeBron. And LeBron was heated, saying some things to Stephen A. And Stephen A was just looking at him and kind of like agreeing with him and just kind of looked like a heated conversation. And then the next day it comes out that there was a confrontation going on. Stephen A says he wasn't going to mention it. Uh, But since it went viral and everybody showed the video, and from my aspect, it looked like he was getting punked. So he wanted to come on TV and talk about it, go on his podcast and talk about it. And for the next couple of days, for the next week, it was a big deal. Supposedly, LeBron was talking about how Stephen A was attacking Bronny as a player, and he was saying, "Don't talk about his fucking kids." You know what I'm saying? LeBron may have a problem with Stephen A. They may have funk in the past, but when it comes to my kids, don't bring him into our beef. Leave him out of it. Let him have a fair shot of making the NBA type shit. This kind of was met with kind of split opinions. Me personally, I get it. You're a father. You don't want this guy blasting your son. It has been a running joke on how bad Bronny has been in the actual NBA. When he started in the G League, he wasn't as good as people expected LeBron James' son to be, especially with him being able to get drafted in the second round above people that uh, sports analysis thought were better than Bronny James and stuff, and a lot of the comments were out of pocket, but then a lot of people were thinking also, well, if you're a son of LeBron James, you're that famous, your dad is this good, this comes with the territory. If you're going to play in the NBA, you're going to get this all day. And if you're not strong enough, maybe you shouldn't be in the NBA type shit. Which is fair, but at the same time, not fair, especially if your dad's in the league with you, he gonna have something to say. A lot of the times when you're at work, your dad can't really say shit about how you're getting treated at work because your dad's not your coworker. In this sense, your dad is your coworker and the top coworker at the company. So yeah, he gonna have a little something to say, especially if he feels embarrassed, if he feels like anything is kind of tarnishing his name or his legacy, he gonna come for you and let you know. It just so happens you were sitting courtside, you was in LA, somewhere that he is easily gonna do whatever he wants to do, and he did what he needed to do. He felt he needed to do. From Stephen A's side, he's saying that he could have kind of talked to me in private, and we could have had a discussion about it if he did feel that way. But LeBron said, and I mean, I guess his team was saying he was here. You never know if he was going to be able to see you again. And with the adrenaline of him, I think winning in overtime or making the last shot as well, him going over to talk to Stephen A was it was going to happen regardless because it was in the moment type shit. And yeah, to me, I kind of felt the same way as Stephen A felt. If you're here, we can go talk the side, meet me in the tunnel. We can talk about it. It did seem a little performative to me. After LeBron talked to him, he kind of looked around and saw the cameras and was kind of looking into the cameras and stuff. And then, I don't know. I just kind of felt like it could have been handled a different way. I think it was meant to embarrass Stephen A, make him look like a punk in front of everybody watching. And then on the next day, all in the media. So Stephen A, with being embarrassed, or as a man being embarrassed, his manhood being tested, he felt like he needed to come out and just kind of lambast everything that happened, all on TV and all on the media outlets, letting them know what he actually said. He never said anything bad about Bronny. He was actually talking about LeBron James. He was actually on the Gilbert Arenas podcast recently, out there cussing and everything, letting it fly. Letting them know that if you wanted to talk to him, you can let me know because you know what I was talking about. You knew I was talking about you, and you're blowing it out of proportion and taking this opportunity to make it look a certain way. So we don't know, man. In all reality, it doesn't really matter. Me personally, I kind of just feel like LeBron James could have made that known a little bit different. But now everybody knows that LeBron let Stephen A know. So, every time he kind of talks about Bronny or LeBron James on TV, everybody's going to kind of looking for trigger points to see, is LeBron going to get mad? Is he going to react? Is he going to say something bad about LeBron? I don't know. I think it was about a lot to do about nothing. These guys will probably make up in a little bit. I mean, these are two powerful black men that we're going to need in America. I personally think. To be on the same page. They're very powerful people, very powerful voices. And I think with them on the same page, we could actually make things happen out here, man. Especially with Stephen A thinking about, people kind of talking him into running for president and stuff in 2028. I know. That could sound a little weird. Nobody really is asking for that. But you know what I'm saying? If we're having people that are just celebrities walking in the office and doing whatever they want, let it be a person of the people that we kind of know already, you know what I'm saying, that speaks our language. You know what I'm saying? If we're gonna have celebrities and shit, have it be a celebrity of our choice, And we're trying to get away from politicians anyway. Nobody likes politicians, you know what I'm saying? This could be a little different, you know what I'm saying? So you guys get on the same page, chill. Or this could all be a little ploy to see how Stephen A handles people of power, to put on his resume for when he runs for president. He's like, look, I stood up to LeBron James and I stood my ground. Consider me for president. I'm strong. I can stand up to the powers. I don't know. But y'all shake hands, chill that shit out, man. Y'all need to stop beefing. I'm tired of these people in high power places, especially being the same, you know, race, and chopping each other down for no reason, out of the blue. You know what I'm saying? 50 Cent, Rick Ross, knock it off. Knock that shit off. Because y'all getting really personal out there. Y'all see, I know y'all talking about this stuff. I'll get on that later because I know a lot of shit's about to happen throughout this weekend with Rick Ross and 50 Cent going back and forth. But moving into pop culture news, just real quick for all my travelers out there, what the hell is wrong with Southwest? I gotta get dual cameras for this, man. Southwest, what is wrong with you, boy? Why in on earth would you think about taking these free bags away? Do you not want people to fly your airlines? The not having assigned seats thing is already bad enough, having to sit next to crying babies or not being able to control shit around you. You taking away the free bags? How much are these bags gonna cost? You better not go to Spirit Route and charge like $70 million for these bags. It makes no sense, bro. I was trying to stick with you because I fly with you frequently. I'm a frequent flyer. You feel me? But I don't know what y'all thinking about this. Hey, Delta. I don't know. I can't even do that because all these other planes are falling out the air. Southwest is the only one I heard that's not using the new computer system that these other airlines is using and falling out the sky. But we need to talk because you already charge outrageous rates for the flights. And we're like, oh yeah, it's free bags, so it's all good. Excuse me, and it'll level out in the end. Brother, if you don't fix this, man, we got some. I hope this is just a test phase. Hope we're just test phasing this shit because whoo, I'm scared. I'm scared. I don't know about you guys. How you guys feel about Southwest charging for bags? I think they south out of their mind. How about y'all? But anyway, sorry about that. Sorry about that. Dual camera for y'all. But hey, I don't like it. I don't like it. I don't like it. I don't like it. Yeah, they don't even have TVs on the back of their seats. They don't have the outlets in between the chairs. What are we doing? What are we doing? Hey, are you trying to get some money to add these kind of things? Are we gonna actually be able to recline our seats a little bit? You know what I'm saying? I know you probably paying a lot of money for those new vegan breadsticks. You trying to make y'all money back? Is that what it is? Because we was good with the pretzels. We didn't have to go vegan super salty sticks. Is that's what's costing all the money, bro? Because I'll give it back. I'll sit there with just water if I can get my free bags, yo. If y'all take away those free carry-ons, bro, and try to limit that shit too, we're gonna have some real problems. I ain't gonna do nothing. I'll probably still get on the plane and shit. But we're gonna have some real problems. We I ain't go. Oh man. We already had that problem that one time and I let it slide and I came back. I don't know if I can come back for this. If you guys become Spirit, I'm gonna lose my flying spirit. If you know what I mean. You know what I'm saying? We need to fix this and fix it fast, man. May 28th, I think, is the first date that they're gonna start doing that. I want to know if they're gonna start doing that if you already bought your tickets for flights. You know what I'm saying? I bought my ticket in the past. What if my flight's in May? Do I have to pay once I get my bag checked there? They're gonna try to throw a charge on me. Because if so, I need some kind of rebate. You know what I'm saying? A free credit card, a free clear or something like that. This just can't. This is some Netflix shit. This is what Netflix does, Southwest. This is not what you do. This is what Netflix does. You're not sounding like yourself. We got to talk. We really got to talk. But anyways, let's moving on. This one's a little weird too. This is a little weird too. Very far-fetched. A lot of sexual assault allegations are coming out within these pop and not pop culture. Yeah, I guess it's pop culture and celebrities and ever since the Diddy thing happened, we've been hearing a lot of cases that are branching off from the Diddy case to try to pin other celebrities and get money out of them. It kind of sounds like I don't know the details for this case in general, so I don't want to necessarily automatically call it a money grab, but it kind of sounds ridiculous. I don't know if you guys have heard, there's a new lawsuit coming out by Jane Doe who is saying that Druski and Odell Beckham were acting on behalf of P. Diddy, in which they kidnapped a group of 3 girls, kidnapped, sexually assaulted, and R-worded these 3 women. One of the things that were supposedly said to be done was they were oiled up and Druski jumped on these women and treated them like a slip and slide. First of all, I don't know if you guys have seen Druski, and again, I'm not trying to make light of this situation. I don't think he's doing that. AKA, go ahead and put Druski's picture up here. Show Druski and how big he is. I don't think he's taking women and slip and sliding on top of them, and they're just now coming out with these things. If that was to happen, hey, I'm sure they'll be in the hospital for those injuries, and we would have heard a lot about that a lot sooner. Odell Beckham, you know, he may have been at a Diddy party. That I wouldn't put it past him, but I don't know, man. I don't think they are into that kind of thing or need to do those kind of things. But hey, and also Drewski already put out a statement and said, because the Jane Doe came out and said this happened in 2018. Drewski was like, "Yeah, I wasn't even famous in 2018. I was broke, living in my mama's garage, just trying to get popping." Odell, he was probably popping in 2018. That's why I'm like, hey, Odell could be in some crazy shit. He did date a Kardashian. But a lot of these things like the Jay-Z thing, a lot of these lawyers are coming out and trying to attach these celebrities to the P. Diddy thing, especially when they're popping hot sizzle grease right now. Just because they know these people aren't going to go to court and get their names dragged through the mud. They're going to rather just settle and give the person the money and just kind of go out that way. And that lawyer or whoever is trying to get this quick money grab can just get the money because they know the celebrity's not going to fight it. But after the Jay-Z thing, I don't know, everybody's not going to have big as lawyers as Jay-Z's, but you know, there needs to probably be a lawyer who looks out for these cases and just helps all the celebrities fight them. Because it's getting crazy out here. People getting millions of dollars off of false claims of shit that didn't happen, like fabricating stories. Like people need to get put in jail for that. You know what I'm saying? Especially, I mean, if it didn't happen, you know what I'm saying? If these things did happen, justice need to be served. But for you to be able to just go out and say somebody did something to you, and just for the public just to be able to believe it, just because this person's famous and crazy shit's going on, and people have done crazy shit, that this is even possible. And it's crazy because if you're a celebrity with this relationship people have been doing nowadays, you're guilty until proven innocent. And then if you say something or mention anything that makes you look even more guilty, I mean, if you don't say anything about it, then you seem even more guilty, even though the shit sounds so outlandish, you shouldn't even have to defend yourself. It's just kind of crazy. It's a crazy world out there. But I do know people are crazy as well, as far as celebrities and people with money. And I also know that people with money that give people money, when they stop getting that money, shit that they were doing can come to light. So it's a crazy world. Everybody just be regular. I know the freak offs were things back in the day before before the cell phones came out and before the money grab thing came on, consensual freak offs, I should say, because now the word freak off has just become crazy. Every time you talk about freak offs, you think about R. Kelly, you think about P. Diddy. You know what I'm saying? You can never think about parties where you remember back in the days where we had all these movies where it was swingers and people used to go to these parties and just, oh, wow, that was interesting. And just have free love and just have sex with everybody. Just some consensual fun. Those were known orgies or something. That's what they would call them. But nowadays they're freak offs, and the baby oil is always associated, and the R word, and tying people up against their will. And it's just crazy. It's just crazy. I've never done any shit like that. And I don't think I ever will be down for the ultimate freak offs and shit like that those people was doing back in the days. Hey, but yeah, people be weird. So yeah, people out here money grabbing, we need to cut that out. Also, lock up these lawyers, take their licenses away because they're using their powers for evil. You know what I mean? If they're not defending somebody or trying to get somebody some justice, then what are you doing? What are we doing? How can we trust our justice system if we're out here throwing around bullshit? How are we supposed to believe the next victim if we're throwing all these false claims that are just this, yeah, we're crazy to believe. But we'll hear more about this, I'm sure. I haven't seen a lot about it on Twitter or anything like that, or X, excuse me, because I don't know. I don't know if it's being suppressed. I see people talking about it, but again, it's so outlandish. It sounds so outlandish. Why would we even, press it? But Odell put out a statement too. It was not as professional as Drewski's, but yeah, we'll see what happens out of it. Moving on from that. Let's see. Lastly, we're just getting to some cinema corner. You know what I'm saying? Quick and easy. Invincible season 3. I don't know if this was the finale episode, but we need to talk about Invincible too. Should I do a camera resist too? I do too. Invincible. We've been through 3 seasons now. I'm talking to you, Mark. I'm talking directly to you. We're gonna have to have a talk about this. We need to see you get stronger. Everybody that fights that's supposed to be a big villain in Invincible this season has whooped your ass from season 1 to now. Your dad whooped your ass. Every Viltrumite has whooped your ass. Yeah, like when are we gonna see Mark? I know he's still supposed to be a teenager, 18, 17 years old, but if I see this man get his ass whooped one more time in this finale episode, he had to. All those people died. He saw his girl get her jaw broken, spoiler alert, and her stomach punched through, and he still was on his last leg. Couldn't take out the person he wanted to take out. I don't know if it's an inner conflict as if he still doesn't want to kill. He's at his wits' end now. Everything that could possibly have happened to him, his brother almost died. Everybody, Rexplode died. Everybody on his team died. And still, he's not strong enough to do what he needs to do to take out one Viltrumite. What happens when all the Viltrumites come? The girl he fought, she let him live. Then this dude that comes, Negan, came, almost killed him, killed his peoples, and he still couldn't get there without help. You know what I'm saying? So I know Omni-Man's eventually gonna come back. You know what I'm saying? So what are we doing here? Mark, we need to talk. I think I can whoop Mark's ass at this point. What do y'all think? Shit. That was my last one, guys. I ain't gonna do it again. But yeah, Mark, he's not getting better. Adam Eve, in my opinion, too, from what she was built up to be in the beginning of the seasons and stuff like that. I think her power should have been a lot more strong. I guess we're still in the developing stages of both of them, but her getting her leg broken in the episode before by one of the other Marks. I know Mark is supposed to be one of the strongest men in the world, one of the people in the world. He's not even pure Viltrumite. You know what I'm saying? I don't know if being half human, half Viltrumite makes him stronger than full-blooded Viltrumites. I doubt it. But come on now. Come on now. For him to be able to do whatever, Adam Eve is supposed to, well, they kind of explain it towards the end of the episode. They say that she has a block on her power, stopping her from doing anything she wants with it. Unless she's like stressed out and absolutely needs to. Maybe that's why she didn't fix herself and wasn't able to fight back against one of the Marks from other realities. But her being able to create anything out of matter, do pretty much anything, she should be able to help Mark, beat Mark, and beat this other Viltrumite that comes down that's whooping Mark's ass because Mark's hella weak. I don't know why he's hella weak. Yeah. Me personally, and I was waiting for Mark's little brother to die too, because if Mark is getting his ass whooped, this half Viltrumite, half species that only lives for like 20 minutes, he'll get his ass whooped and killed. So I'm waiting to see his progression. Maybe he grows up. I need to see both of them grow up, because if I have to go through a whole nother season of them just getting their ass whooped and them dealing with the emotional baggage, I don't know if I can do it. I appreciate it though. It gives another side of, the superhero stuff. It lets us know the internal strife. We see it in other shows, but they don't really go into depth as much as they do in this cartoon, because they show a lot more people die. That fight between him and the old Viltrumite dude, how they did the same scene as they did when he fought his dad, just ripping through people. Them fighting impacts their surroundings so much that they're killing thousands of people in the process of them fighting. You know what I mean? It was tight. It was tight though. I really respect the show and everything they're trying to do. I actually shed a tear in this episode. I ain't gonna lie. I ain't gonna lie. It was sad, man, just seeing everybody die, and then Mark actually finally get to his breaking point and just kind of start whooping dude's ass, breaking when he was headbutting him after both of his arms are broken. He had nothing else to beat dude to death with. He started headbutting him to death. That shit was crazy. That shit was crazy. But I'm happy that Adam Eve is still alive. I'm really hoping that Mark, once he heals, they can find a way to make him strong enough just to be a badass and just be strong and as dope as his dad. I know Cecil grabbed the killed Viltrumite and is gonna make one of those robot things out of him, which is gonna make Mark hella mad because Mark wanted him to burn the body, because once they reanimate that Viltrumite, he's gonna come alive and start doing some bullshit, and that's gonna be the breaking point, because that Viltrumite killed his wife or his girlfriend right in front of him, almost killed his brother, almost killed him, killed thousands of people. Yeah, Mark, I don't know, man. I want to be on Cecil's side so bad, and just like think he's doing the right thing and he's trying to protect the world from anything that could happen, an invasion of Viltrumites, invasion of people that are strong as Mark, but he's just doing stupid shit. And he knows what it's gonna do. He's doing is gonna go wrong. these scientists are gonna end up trying to rush these projects, and all these super soldiers that they're making are gonna fucking something's bad gonna happen to them. Something bad is gonna happen. I already know. But let me know how you guys like it so far. Let me know if Mark and Adam Eve need to upgrade their powers because it's 3 seasons in right now, man. I don't know how many years of this show, and we still got Mark getting his ass whooped. And he should be Togo Sakamoto at this point. He should be One Punch Man at this point, especially on his planet. You know what I'm saying? Those twins whooped his ass in the lab. Come on. Before his brother came in and killed him. Like, what's going on? I get it. He don't want to kill, but he could dismember people. He could just fuck them up. He has that mental block. I don't know, man. We gonna see what happens with Mark, bro. We gonna see what happens. But it's a good show. I think they're doing a great job, but it just kind of annoys me a little. All right. Niggas out here slapping. And Daredevil, man, episode 3, Disney Plus. If you guys been checking in, keeping track of what's going on with them. Again, it's only 3 episodes. Episodes come out every Tuesday, I believe. They're doing episodically, and they're doing a really good job. A slight continuation of season 1 or the Netflix series with Foggy and Karen and everybody from there, but then it kind of switches up. I think I talked about episode 1 and 2 last episode when Foggy does get shot in the beginning by Bullseye, kind of lets all the characters from the last episode get their last season, season 3 on Netflix, get their cameos in before they shift to the real story. First episode, we get that Daredevil in Bullseye fight. The CGI was kind of bad, I ain't gonna lie, but I do like Bullseye. The fact that he can just throw shit anywhere and Daredevil just get hurt, and the fact that he's blind and can't really see shit coming, he just be getting fucked up by shit. But yeah, the fight scene was dope. Seeing Foggy get shot and killed at the beginning and Daredevil just break and kill dude was interesting, even though he did come back alive. Hope they explain a little bit more about that. But after that, we see Charlie Cox and Matt Murdock just become lawyer and just kind of give up the Daredevil kind of vigilante type shit, and he just kind of works harder on just becoming a lawyer, starts his own practice with one of his friends, and starts representing the White Tiger. What's his name? Hector Ayala in the show. He stumbled across a man getting messed with by a couple of people on the train platform. They ended up being undercover cops. He ends up fighting them. One falls onto the track, and they blame the death on Victor Ayala, but he's secretly a vigilante named White Tiger that goes out there and puts on this amulet. And so, if you guys are familiar with the lore of Daredevil and the comics, you know who White Tiger is. But we get to see Matt Murdock just basically be a lawyer and not really be Daredevil and represent this guy who is a vigilante himself, but is being wrongly accused of killing this cop because he says he was going down there to protect the guy that was getting hassled with. And you know how Matt Murdock, and his senses are heightened. He knows that Brad is telling the truth based on his stress levels and his heartbeat and how he's breathing and shit like that. So he decides to represent him. So episode 3, we kind of go through the case and just kind of deal with, the show is more so a court drama than it is more so a superhero show. And that's really cool. We get to see Matt Murdock in court and kind of go episodically through cases and shit that's happening. Well, hopefully that's what's kind of going on. But this last 2 episodes have been kind of the same case with White Tiger and the whole situation of the person dying on the tracks. But it's cool seeing him defend the White Tiger against this police faction who is worshiping the Punisher, it seems like, and they're kind of like a undercover kind of like, hit squad who kind of goes by their own rules and kind of lives by the word of the Punisher, and that's kind of what he kind of goes by. He's a person that kills bad people against the rules. He doesn't take them to jail. He's going to kill them and give them justice type shit. So you're seeing a faction of the police kind of act this way and just going beyond the rules and doing what they can to intimidate the witnesses, even try to kill Matt Murdock before he whoops their asses for trying to intimidate him as a lawyer. But eventually we see in the episode that Matt Murdock does get White Tiger off murder conviction by letting everybody know he was White Tiger as a last case, kind of like last ditch effort to get him off, letting him know he's been out there fighting for good, helped all these cops. If he was a cop killer, he would have killed a cop a long time ago because he's been out there protecting cops and helped cops in a whole bunch of situations as the White Tiger. So after the jury hears that, they get a lot of written statements from the police force saying how White Tiger helped him. So he was able to get off and plead not guilty to the murdering of the cop, but the cop that was, beating up the confidential informant, the dirty cop with the faction of the Punisher, didn't like that too much. So we know that something kind of dirty is going to happen after that, after the dirty cop kind of gets off. It doesn't get in trouble. His partner got murdered, but nobody got blamed for it. It was basically his fault. But towards the end of the episode, we see White Tiger get his amulet on, go out there to do his thing after being acquitted. But under the fake perception of somebody being hurt, he walks down the street and gets shot in the head by somebody wearing a Punisher vest. So we're going to see, it looks like the cops caught up to him and ended up shooting Victor Ayala anyways, even though he was innocent and he killed dude by accident. The cops did end up getting their way and killing Victor Ayala, which is fucked up. But I think what's going to actually happen is they're going to try to say it was the Punisher, not these guys that actually worship the Punisher and act kind of on his behalf. Not really on his behalf, but he's the conduit for what they do. You know what I mean? So we're probably going to see the Daredevil attack the Punisher, and that's going to bring Jon Bernthal in it. And we're going to see Daredevil and probably the Punisher go back out there and take care of this police force that is dirty, committing crimes under his guise, like under the guise of the Punisher, which is fucked up. Kingpin's arc is interesting. We see him trying to put his Kingpin stuff behind him and actually become the mayor. We see the whole pothole thing, him hopping out and fixing shit right away, trying to get in the good graces of the people. We see the young crowd trying to help him out a lot. They really like what he represented in the past and thought they can use that as somebody that can kind of, inspire the people, and somebody that's not a politician can come out here and change Devil's Kitchen and Hell's Kitchen, excuse me, can change Hell's Kitchen, being from Hell's Kitchen and not just being a politician that'll say shit and not really do shit. So we see that happening, but we know really that Kingpin is really just kind of trying to bait the Daredevil into coming out so he can just make his life a living hell. And we know that Daredevil is just waiting for the Kingpin to mess up as mayor so he can come back as Daredevil and make Kingpin's life a living hell. So we kind of, I feel like we're headed to a head-on collision on some bullshit happening, because one of them is going to step in some bullshit. We have Kingpin's wife who can't help herself and wants to be in that life, who's going to cross the line and probably get Kingpin in trouble. And then once he does that, Daredevil's probably going to come into the spot. And you already see Kingpin kind of already trying to shun vigilantes and make it bad for Daredevil to step outside. He already had White Tiger killed. And then when this shit started with the Punishers, maybe the police force will be working for him to try to get the Punisher out of the picture too. So we know Kingpin has a hidden plan. He's not going to turn completely good and just be a hero. I mean, especially if you read the comics, you kind of already know what's going to happen. It's going to be 18 episodes broken into 2 seasons in this season, or for the show, Daredevil Born Again. So a lot of shit's going to happen. It's not going to be peaches and cream just like the first episodes have been. So we'll see what's going to happen, and hopefully you guys have checked it out. Disney Plus right now, first 3 episodes are out. So go check that shit out and let me know how you guys like it. Actually, I feel like that was a good review. I don't usually do good reviews, but goddamn, that was a good one. Goddamn. That's all I got for you guys. That's all I got today. We made it to the end of the podcast, where I like to let you guys know where you can find me. It's Patrick_Lydell on the Instagram. It's SAC_Lydell on the Instagram. Patrick_Lydell on the Snapchat. If you're looking for TikTok, Best of Bias on air. And then you got Best of Bias on Instagram as well, posting stories all day, letting you guys know what I might be talking about on the pod. So check that out. Check out the stories. And I'm posting a lot of stuff to keep y'all updated. You know what I'm saying? Get a little bit more intimate with y'all, you feel me? So yeah, if you guys want to see more videos and stuff like this, just go ahead and comment, like, subscribe on the pod, hit the bell so you don't miss any videos. AKA, again, always does a great job of getting these videos out in a timely manner. I know it comes out a little later than the video, but we're a 2-man team just trying to expand. If you guys are looking for a team to join, Best of Bias Media is always trying to grow. We need artists, social media managers, producers. We need all kinds of stuff. So if you're trying to join the team, hit me up. You know where to find me at. It's the Best of Bias Podcast. Merch is always still available. New stuff coming soon. Do not miss out, man. Keep your doors open. Keep your ears open. You know what I'm saying? If you're not following both Instagram pages, SAC_Lydell and Patrick and the Best of Bias page, like both, man. Stay up to date. But hey, as I always say, it's to the end of the podcast where that theme song at. And I hope you guys have a great weekend, man. It's the Best of Bias Podcast, episode 237 in the books. Where that theme song at.
It's the best of bias. You need the earful, you should try us. From pop culture to the movies to unite us. It's the best of bias. Your best of bias. Yeah, it's the best of bias.